From the Fairmount Chateau. You know, some describe this as a fairy tale castle, you know, at the edge of a wilderness. And the camera actually, pans around. We're going to get Jason, see if we can activate that. And, what's really cool, I'm sure some of you have been there. Typically, of course, Lake Louise is frozen for over half the year. So naturally, ice skating is a very popular activity in the winter months. And they've actually cleared off a large section there. But when the warmer weather moves in, of course, that's when you see that brilliant blue color of the glacier waters. Just spectacular. Everybody, certainly in Canada, but worldwide, should experience the beauty that we have in Western Canada. It really is spectacular. And it just shows you, how much beauty is around us. And I think if more of us would appreciate and connect with nature, maybe the world would not be so chaotic and sad at times. That's for sure. You can see actually some people there on the lake there. They're doing some adventures and that sort of thing. It's -4 with a mix of sun and cloud in Alberta and the Banff region. And you know what? It almost looks the same in the GTA, doesn't it, with some of the snowfall that we're dealing with. But it's great to have you along, my friends. Thank you for your company today on a Friday. Wendy was officially the first one to say hello, so we appreciate that. With lots of people joining in this afternoon. Barbara's here. Miranda saying happy Friday, everyone. Susan Budd is joining us. Good afternoon, Susan. As well, Jill and Karen and Murray and Linda. Emily is saying happy Friday from Newmarket, Ontario. You know, one of my first jobs ever was in Newmarket at a small radio station there. Alan is saying good afternoon. So is Kathy. We have Kathy Woolley and Kathy Murray. Shauna McFadden is joining us. Penny Lynn, Lori, Ron Carter saying good afternoon to everyone. So it's great to have you along here today. In fact, Shauna says, wish it were cheaper to travel in our own country. You know, it's a very good point. And I hate to say it, but I think it's still going to get even more expensive just because of what's going on in the world. But let's put that on the shelf for now. I don't want to ignore it, but let's just celebrate some positivity here as we start up into the long weekend, or I should say the March break. A long weekend for school kids across the region. We got a great show coming up. We're going to talk about the forecast. Despite the fact that spring is 9 days away, Old Man Winter is thumbing us one more time, and some areas of southern Ontario are certainly going to see quite a bit of snowfall, so we continue to track that. We're going to play The Price Is What? That'll be fun. Have a new AKQ. In our Nod to Nature file, have you ever seen a mountain devil? Have you? Do you know what that is? Well, I'm going to show you. It's a very elusive creature, and it was spotted this week. A really great story behind it. But first, I want to head to the movies. I thought this was an amazing story because, again, it's local. The Little Prince Sin Lounge, and that's in Stratford, Ontario, has now been named officially the smallest purpose-built cinema on the planet by the Guinness Book of World Records. I want to show you a picture of this. It's very tiny, very nicely done, though, I might add. It's a 13-seater. It's about 16 square meters in size, so almost about the size of the average master bedroom, if you will. In this photo, you're actually seeing the owners, Lee and Carla on the left. They made a little cafe there. And the idea was born out of the pandemic to offer a small space with very limited seating to adhere to the province's gathering restrictions. And, it used to be a small downtown gallery as well as a screening room for local filmmakers. And they came up with this idea. And certainly there were some hurdles, but now look at that. It was even mentioned on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. So I thought that was very cool that you have local entrepreneurs doing so well. And the idea behind this is you can book this small little theater. Maybe you want to do a birthday party, a small gathering. They have a catalog of movies that they can show you, and everything from 101 Dalmatians to Christmas Vacation, Airplane, stuff like that. They won't get new releases, of course. But you can come and have some fun. They have their little confectionery stand there, and everybody can have a good time in a very small space. So it's obviously in your own bubble, your own circle. But isn't that great? Here for local entrepreneurship, and it's not that far, about 90 minutes away from Toronto, give or take, and something to experience. So good for you. Congratulations, Lee and Carla, with the world's smallest purpose-built cinema on the planet, and that's in Stratford, Ontario. Now, it leads me to the AKQ today, and I thought this could be fun for a Friday. If you could be in a movie and we can go back. It doesn't have to be, you know, one that's going to be made. But if you could be in a Hollywood movie, which one would it be? And let's say, I'm not saying you're going to be the star, a small role, but nonetheless, you're going to be on set. And I was thinking about that, and I'd have to say Raiders of the Lost Ark. That would certainly be in there for me. Jurassic Park would certainly be there. Just, you know what I really like about some of those movies? First of all, it's just adventure and it's fantasy and you're having some fun. But the movies, you know, that were made probably 20 years now, I hate to say it, wow, that goes back. But there wasn't as much, you know, digital effects. There was some green screen technology. Now, you know, some movies could be made entirely really into a studio. You know, everything is just sort of put in digitally. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's not that very fun. I mean, I want to go to a location, you know. I want to travel somewhere in the world and be on the set. So that's the question. If you could be in a movie, which one would it be? And it literally could be any movie. If you want to go all the way back to some of the true classics, but let me know. And if you want to add into it, you know, is there a particular character you would have played or would you want to be in it, you can do that as well. But that's the AKQ. And Catherine is saying, good day. Thanks so much for showing us really cool stories. Must check it out, talking about the cinema. Also, oh, listen, this is interesting. Ron says American Graffiti. That would be kind of cool, yes. And Alan says the theater is built for him. Emily says Grease as Sandy. Well, that's great. I love that. And Sheila says, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Ooh. You're right, I can't sing either, Sheila, but you'd love to be in those mountains. I agree, that would be something. Mine also says that. Oh, Barbara adds, Back to the Future. That would be cool. Yeah, Michael J. Fox, that'd be awesome. Linda adds in Grease. Also, Murray says The Sting. Whoa, these are some true classics. Giselle is joining us. Hello from Burlington. And Pickin is saying hello. Cheryl Boudreau's giving us an emoji with the heart on the eyes there. So cool stuff. So that's the question we're asking you. Giselle adds, by the way, Out of Africa. Love that movie. Love that part of Africa. One of my bucket list things to do a safari. Have to tell you, that's for sure. And as we continue here, I'm going to do a few more. We'll continue on with some of the things I want to share with you. Linda adds Gone with the Wind. True classic. Kathy says green card, just because I could live in that greenhouse. Gorgeous. That's cool. Nobody's fool. Murray says. Oh, Ermina says Dr. Doolittle. Yes, that was, and I'm assuming are you talking with the original, or are you talking the one with Eddie Murphy? Either would be fun, I think. Rose adds also A Sound of Music. Wendy said I have great singing. Well, well, I like that. Woo, very nice. Oh, but Lori adds in, don't give up your day job. Yeah, I know. Okay. Helen says officer and a gentleman for the AKQ. Well, we'll continue with some of your responses here as we start a Friday together. This is Here and There. If you're brand new to the show, we do this every Friday at 1 o'clock. And by the way, I need to mention, not only are we streaming live on Facebook, but we are also simultaneously live on my YouTube channel. So if you have friends, you know, some of the family who doesn't necessarily go to Facebook, you can tell them to find my channel. Just Google Anwar Knight on YouTube, and you can see us live there as well. Unfortunately, at this moment, I won't be able to do comments there because it's just too much logistically to flip-flop in between, but we are live as well on YouTube, so I appreciate you watching on both channels here. Let's continue. Now, if anybody, you know, been to, we talked traveling a little bit, to Belize, you know, in Central America, it's the southeast, it's southeast of Mexico. So you have Mexico, Central America, and there's a tiny little nation there, Belize. This is a cool story because there's an island just off the coast of Belize. It's about a 15-minute boat ride there. And it has new owners. A group of guys purchased this island, and it is now the world's first, get this, crowd-funded private island. So they basically asked for Joe Public. Do you want to buy in on this idea, what we want to do here? And they got over $250,000, and they have just completed the purchase. It is officially theirs. Let me show you a picture. So you have the 5 guys and the island's not very big. It's about just over an acre, 1.2 acres in size. And it is, you know, it's got the ocean around it, and it has very easy accessibility to Belize itself. But they started this idea actually over a decade ago and slowly started putting it together. And they are calling it now officially the Principality of Islandia. It'll be a micronation complete with its own national flag, anthem, and government, even some island laws. They're going to say no single-use plastics, which is fantastic. And yes, some of this is really for fun, clearly, but it is their island. They can do what they want. The reality is the island still legally falls under the jurisdiction of Belize proper, but they're hoping to make this a very profitable adventure. Hoping maybe they'll start some marketing and they'll put maybe a small eatery there and make it a destination for snorkeling. I should add that the Belize Barrier Reef, which is the second largest in the world, is nearby here. So that in itself could be a draw, right? It's another place to go. You could say, hey, I'm heading to Principality of Islandia, a very small island, and maybe you get lunch there and then you do snorkeling. They are still looking, by the way, for additional investors or citizens. So with X amount of dollars, you become an honorary citizen of here. And they are going to cap it off. It's not infinite. And you'll be part of this business venture for the most part. But I thought it was really neat. You know, as long as everything is done by the books, Belize obviously said it goes to the person who can buy it because it was literally for sale, and they got it. I do wonder, though, because it is surrounded by water, and I think they're aware of it too, with climate change, there is a risk, truly, that literally overnight, you know, as the oceans continue to slowly rise with the earth warming, it could be gone overnight. It could be submerged. I mean, that is a reality. They are aware of it, and they've actually have in their plan that maybe they'll do some further embankments around the edges, natural, of course. But there it is. The guys bought an island. Wouldn't that be a great story? So what did you do over the summer? Well, we bought an island. I thought it was kind of cool. And Kathy says, boy, talk about smart, lucky guys. And Barb says, yeah, only an acre, though. That is pretty tiny. I think you really want to know the people that are coming on for the stay there. Now, they are also... Murray says, no man is an island. They are, when they're going there, and when they did this sort of press junket, they brought tents. There's no place to sleep there yet, right? But they did some funny, pictures with a cigar and enjoying the life. I think it is pretty smart. The fact that it's crowdfunded, they have some big investors with them. Cheryl adds it's a very cool idea. And Wendy wonders if they'll make their own currency. I guess they could. Obviously, it would not be, anything more once you get off the island, but I guess Canadian Tire has their own currency. So you could do that in theory, but it may become a little problematic because at what point do you draw the line, right? So if you come in as a guest and say, well, give me whatever they're going to call the dollar there, 100 American or Canadian dollars, and I'll give you maybe 200 of these, this currency. I think you're into a dangerous slope there, but that maybe, who knows. Wendy adds, if it submerges, they can make a water world and anchor rafts to it with little tents on it. Maybe. Isn't that, it's not Tahiti. What's that really remote tropical paradise where they have those, the 4 poles, and they have these beautiful little cabanas in the ocean here. Nancy says it's a neat idea. Ron says Gilligan's Island. The weather is getting rough, yeah. Rico wants to know, do you still own the island if it's underwater? It's a good question. Does it just become part of the ocean now? I'm not sure. But that's a very good question. And could you then still charge for snorkeling? I don't think you could. But maybe so. Very good question. All right, let's continue here. What I wanted to do? I had to mention this. Sorry. I wanted to go back. Sorry, Jason. I threw things out of order here. We talked about last week about Grace, and that was the oldest known turtle in Ontario. And it was a snapping turtle believed to be over 120 years old. I love, the comments and us connecting. Alan, who's a regular viewer of the show, he wanted to share a picture of his turtle. So Jason, if you can pull up that photo, these are red painted turtles. And they are, if I get the names right here, Squirt and Skittles. So these were his turtles that he has. Now obviously they're much smaller than Grace, but pretty good looking turtles there. And if I'm not mistaken, they live 20, 25 years. Not sure how old these are, Alan, but we appreciate you sharing this with us. We're always open to your comments, questions, and things you want to share. So Squirt and Skittles, officially part of the Here and There show. So I think that's fantastic. Good stuff. I love it. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? Rick Jackson says Bora Bora has those overwater bungalows, and Maria, and I've never heard of Maria, but Bora Bora, very good, thank you, I appreciate that. And Wendy seconds that. And Shauna says some cottagers own some of the land that goes into the water to a certain point. I did not know that. So I guess that extends past your dock, like you're saying up in cottage country here. That's interesting. Very interesting. So maybe they do have a buffer zone. And Barbara adds very cool looking turtles. So Alan, you can be proud, very proud. Okay, what I want to do, guys, we have lots to do. We're going to play The Price is What, The Nod to Nature. I want to get into our forecast. Lots to talk about here. And Narita mentioned that the snow continues to fall in Milton. Toronto's been seeing it for about 4 hours. So let's start off by letting you know that the weather is brought to you by the Big Blue Marble Podcast. You know, listen in to undeniable stories of our changing planet and the amazing people trying to save it. You can catch some of the brand new episodes that have been uploaded recently, and you can get that either at bigbluemarble.earth or www.anwarnight.com. I have a new website. You're welcome to check that out as well. And of course, on all your favorite podcast players. So from there, we're going to get to our national map. And we actually have a pair of storm systems that are taking aim here in the lower Great Lakes Basin. And it will be predominantly a snow event for us. So the national map is showing quite a few systems here. And this one actually is incorrect, Jay, but that's okay. If you want to just get into the radar imagery, and we'll show the snow. So what we have is a couple of systems that are working together. And I think snow is going to be the staple, with a few exceptions, in and around the Niagara area. You know, it could mix in with rain a little bit. You can see this band of moisture, and I know that many areas in the GTA woke up this morning already with a couple of centimeters. So this is all going to be sort of draping over west to east, and then another low is going to move in, and it is going to sort of really ramp up the energy field. So it will be more in terms of accumulating snow for eastern sections of southern Ontario. And we're talking over 10 centimeters. That is certainly possible. But you can see that whole band from west to east. Excuse me as I get a drink of water. And, you know, generally speaking, depending, you know, where you are, 5 to 7 centimeters, very likely. But the takeaway with this is accumulating snow, then gusty winds on the back side of it, which will set up squalls, and then a cold blast. I mean, it's going to feel like midwinter for tonight. And you can expect a slow drive home this evening as well. Let me show you the forecast in around the GTA. Laura, by the way, adds, love the last podcast about butterflies. It really is a fascinating story. Be sure to check it out. Wendy added that as well. And Barbara says, the only accurate weather forecast out there. Well, thank you. And my mind says, no, sick of snow. Hey, I hear you. I am done too. I am so done. I was so excited to see everything melt, although it was kind of swampy in our backyard. To see this latest covering, oh man, I'm done. But here's what we got to deal with. I have good news at the end of this. Barb Fenn says, no more snow. We've earned our stripes. Yeah, I agree. Cloudy periods of snow, 5 to 7 centimeters, 1 degree. Feeling like -3. Easterly flow, 15 to 30 clicks. And then for tonight, cloudy with scattered flurries. Very cold, -7, feeling like -13. That's well below where we should be. Sunset time will be 6:18. You'll notice the wind is shifting to a northwesterly flow. So it's 20 to 40 clicks. Some areas will see even gustier. Let me show that for the rest of southern Ontario. We will see cloud cover, periods of snow and flurries. Again, generally speaking, we are going to see, 3 to 6 centimeters in many areas. Some areas will mix with rain around the Golden Horseshoe, but it's going to be a bigger story as you push into eastern sections. And that's, in around the Haliburton area, Peterborough pushing through to Kingston, 5 to 15 centimeters. And, that's enough to warrant the snowblower again, and that stinks, So -1 to 2 for highs today, and then -11 in and around the Haliburton area, feeling like -17. Kingston -4, feeling like -9. Windsor -9, feeling like -16. Stratford, by the way, will feel probably -20, -21 with the wind chill. And you can see those northwesterlies, 30 to 60 kilometers an hour. So that's the lake effect bands. You know, Grey Bruce, Huron, Perth, you're a snow squall watch area right now. And I know you're used to that, but it still stinks, you know, when we're talking about spring just over a week away. So let's get to the 5-day forecast, the good stuff, if you will, and I'll show you what it looks like. And what we're dealing with. So for tomorrow, I anticipate certainly some sunny breaks, but as we get into the afternoon, some of those lake effect bands may punch into the GTA, give us a band of flurries. Still cold, -3. And then Sunday, we got another system. It's a weak one, but it's still coming in with some wet snow, a couple of centimeters there. Monday, up to 8 degrees. The melt will begin, risk of some showers developing. And then on Tuesday, 5 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Now, I've been analyzing the latest trends. So, you know, about 8 days ago, there was a consensus that some of the colder air is going to really take charge. It's starting to change again. Remember, weather's always changing. We may see a bit of a warm pattern develop over the next 8 or 9 days. So that is good news. So guys, I don't want to go on record, but I think this is going to be sort of the last sort of spell of snow in terms of accumulating snow, and things are going to start to move in. You know, I was talking with my wife about the conditions, and she said, you know, it seems like we go from winter right to summer. Spring is no longer a transitional period. And it seems like that over the last few years. Maybe that's indicative of our changing planet. But let's hope that we start to get a few weeks of some warm stuff and then the hot, so we can sort of extend it out there. Andrea Kelly joins us, and she says, spring, oh, I just lost you, hang on here. Spring must be on the way. I had 16 turkeys walking up my driveway yesterday in Dorset. Now, is that, you know, is that akin to Wyerton Willie? You know, in Wyerton, when the turkeys show up on the doorstep, spring is a-coming? I'll take it at this point, right? Why not? Oh, man, that's really interesting, though. And Sheila says it'll be July before all that snow on my front line, my front line before it all melts. I hope not, Sheila. I really do. Man, are you kidding me? I need something different. Susan Butt says the sap is really going to run after the weekend. And in fact, there are some maple syrup festivals beginning. Fingers crossed, we're hoping to do one on the show in the coming weeks, all right? So we'll get back out on the road, which would be really cool. Linda says, I really hope you're right. Yeah, so do I. So do I, that's for sure. Nancy says, famous last words. Your wife was right. I miss spring. You know, the only thing I don't like about spring is, and I'm a dog owner, but is the stink of poop. And it's because people, you know, who are really not responsible pet owners, and they just leave it around. But I can't stand that. It is so disgusting. If you're going to have a dog, you got to clean up after the dog, or don't have a dog, right? That's the only thing. Everything just looks really yucky, and it stinks, and it's sitting there, and it sort of takes away from the beauty of the new beginning, right, of spring. Rico says, take your snow tires off, then we'll get the final snowstorm. Yeah, that's true. You know, when we start doing that, we get hit one more time. That's another little thing, you know. Edith says, one was in my bird feeder this morning. Are we talking a turkey? Which are we talking about here? That's interesting, though. And Emily says, I like spring because of, oh, it's going quick. All the flowers and trees start to bud. Yeah, I can't wait. Jack says, I saw a robin yesterday. Spring can't be far off. I agree. I think spring is around the corner. We're starting to see that. We saw some robins at our bird feeder, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really good. All right, so, beg your pardon, very dry in here. I got the heat going on. Cindy says you're 100% right about owning a dog. Isn't it the truth? And Rick also says saw a cardinal yesterday, but today, what does it say here? Oh, it's going so much. I'm sorry. See what happens when you guys put in comments, it pushes the whole timeline up, so I've lost it. I'm sorry. And Catherine says, so true about the doggy poop. And Joanne adds, yes, people don't pick up. It is disgusting. Spring mud, not a fan of either. I have 2 dogs. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, I'm lucky. I trained our Nova to actually go in a certain spot in the backyard. We've given her sort of a 2-meter square with tiny pebbles on it. And she goes there quite a bit. But you know, I clean it about once a week. So it's her spot. She doesn't go on the grass anywhere. And I do it for garbage day. But if it gets really, you know, mild and rainy. I try to get out there before, not that I want to get in too many details. So that's the one thing I like about the deep freeze. When it's cold, man, it's easy to pick up, right? Anyway, okay, you need a humidifier, Jeff says. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Let's get into a round of the Price is What? Okay, you ready to play this? And if you're new to the show, very easy. I'm simply going to show you an actual item that is legitimately for sale on an online website. I won't say the name of it, but it rhymes with Luigi. And you basically try to list the correct price without going over. Please include the item number 1, 2, or 3 because it goes so rapidly. I know which one you're bidding on, all right? And the winner gets to brag. That's what we got. Okay, so you ready for item number 1 for the Price is What? Okay. Number 1 is a brass elephant. A brass elephant. According to the seller, every home needs one of these. No? Maybe? I don't know. But this is a pretty big one. It's 26 inches tall. So it's over 2 feet. In fact, they put a milk jug next to it so you get an appreciation because it's actually on a little stool there or whatever you want to call it. And according to the seller, now this might be a cultural thing, but it's good luck in the home. But is it worth enough luck that you want to pay for it? I ask you, oh wow, lots already in here. How much? The price is what? And Rico says 99, and Miranda says 50, Marie says 125, Giselle says $2,500 for the brass elephant. Also, Linda says 150. Joanne says, is that 30 bucks? 30 bucks. Alan says 75. Shauna says 60. Lori says 250. We're talking about the brass elephant on The Price is What. I'll let a few more bids come in here. Barbara Woods says 150. Oh, we have $1,000 with Margaret. Maybe there is some luck. There's some truth to the story here. Catherine says 300. Joyce says 49 even. And Linda says 500. Jack says 250. Marina says 125. And Ann says 140. Actual price of the brass elephant. Shirley Zilke says 109, by the way. And Adele says 200. It's $510. 510 bucks. Penny Lynn says 25. You know, I got to be honest, and I mean no disrespect if it is something of cultural significance. I don't know if I'd spend 500 bucks on a brass elephant, but you have to think of the weight of the brass because brass is expensive these days. But the actual price, yeah, Linda says, oh my, $510. That's item number 1. Item number 2. Now, this surprised me, and I just thought it was sort of really cool. I didn't think you could sort of buy this on this website. But take a look. Item number 2 is Nitro the horse. This is a real live horse. It's for sale. It's 13 years old and described as 15 hands high. Needless to say, this is from out west. Used to be ridden, and Nitro apparently enjoys to have a task, so likes to be put to work, if you will. Has apparently, I'm putting this in there in case you're experts, and I know some of our viewers are from the rural area of Ontario. You know, Judy, Shirley, Susan, you may be familiar. It has a mild case of what's called Sweeney shoulder. Apparently it is treatable. It's like a nerve damage. It is treatable. But how much would you pay for a horse? Nitro is for sale. So this is item number 2. I'm going to scale back here. So we got Rico says 5,500, Adele says 5,000, Sheila also says 5,000, Miranda says 2,000, Murray adds that 2,000, and Laura, you just put a dollar sign. Is that is that like, you know, priceless? Are you willing to spend anything on that horse? Nancy says 4,500, Cindy says 900, 1,250 from Joyce, Linda says 1,000. Barbara Wood says 1,500, Giselle says 5,000, and Connie adds, Nitro is gorgeous. I have no idea. You know, either did I. That's why I was really intrigued. I thought, well, this might be kind of fun. Linda says 3,800, Alan says 2,000, so does Shauna and Lori. And Shirley says 7,000 for this horse. Joanne says 2,500, Linda says 2,000, Catherine 2,500, Penny Lynn $800. That's 300 more than the elephant, right? Wendy says 2,000. Kathy says 1,500. And oh, Christina adds in from the west. She says, you don't want to know how much I'd pay for a horse. They are beautiful animals. Ann says $7.79. I don't see somebody on a farm coming up with a $7.79, but who knows? Jack says $6,000. Laura says $10,000. Susan says $2,500. Narita says no idea. Lois says $1,500. And Jeff says sad though. Well, I don't know. I'm not suggesting there's any cruelty here. I mean, the reality is for those in the rural, areas that live, earn a living through livestock, a horse can be very well cared for, very well loved and part of sort of the rural family, if you will. I know not all of them look at them as pets. Some of them, I mean, that's what they do. But I don't see this particular one as anything more than, for some reason, they just want to find a new home for the horse. And I think there are many, many people that would love to give it a good home. Peter says $1,200. Lucy says $1,550. Christina says it's not buying the horse that's so insane. It's the cost of keeping them. Now that might be true if you don't have your own, farm, right? Where do you store them? Anyway, last two bids. Judy says $2,500 and Cappy says $10,000. And I'm going to tell you the actual price is $4,500 for Nitro the horse. Nitro the horse is $4,500. I don't know if that's a good deal or not, to be honest. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable. It seems very tempting, to be honest. I don't know where I'd keep it. And as Christina mentioned, I'd have to pay for the boarding, and that in itself, it won't be in my price bracket. But I think the horses are one of the most beautiful animals in the world. Cheryl just mentioned having trouble with the signal. If for some reason your high-speed internet sometimes craps out, all you have to do is reload the page. So, right-click on your mouse, either reload or refresh, and it'll refresh the show. Sometimes that happens because we're doing a full show rather than, if you're watching a video that's 2 minutes. So you have to just sort of redo the cache on your website of Facebook, okay? All right, so let's continue with our last item. Now this one, I don't know, man. What people try to sell. This is item number 3. Get ready for it. It is the custom Conan the Barbarian figure. Apparently it's one of a kind, and it's 1/6 scale Conan figure. And I have to be honest, I found this a little creepy. I don't know who wants it, but apparently, somebody made this and thinks there's a market for it. So it's a custom one of a kind. It features rooted hair, silicone body, and oh yes, it comes with real leather goods. And these are handmade, like leather headband, leather war skirt and harness, handmade leather boots, sword, battle axe, and helmet. This guy's ready for a battle. I mean, the face is creepy to me. I don't know, it almost looks like some voodoo doll or something. It just doesn't do it for me. But I'm gonna ask you anyway. Christina says scary. That's what I said. And I have to tell you, there were many photos of this, and some of them with Conan naked. And what they did, they just put little, digitized dots on the butt and the... But I don't get it. I don't understand it. But how much would you pay for this? Here we go. I'm gonna scroll back here. Oh, wow. I love some of these. Rico says 600. Adele says $1.99. Jack says $50. $250 to Murray. Linda says $750. Clearly a Conan fan. Also, Connie says $500. Cindy says $1,100. Lois says $5.99. Thank you very much. Susan Butt says $5. Also Miranda. Linda says $100. Alan says $1. He's on the board. And Mine says very creepy. I know, right? Very creepy. Shirley adds $2. Barbara says $350. Lucy says $300. Lori says $75. And Nancy says, seriously? You can pay me, maybe, right? Oh, so creepy adds Barb. But Jeff says priceless. I don't know. Maybe. Giselle says yuck, but adds $2,500. Joanne says $99. That's creepy. Catherine says $275. Cindy says, is this still alive? I'm so confused. Sheila said I wouldn't pay more than $2, but they probably want $400. And Laura says not a cent. Margaret says 0, but $500. Cindy adds 25. Karen says 0. Wendy says 300. Andrea says shrunken headband. $200 for creepiness. You said it. 50 cents. It's going even lower. Okay, Ann says $5.40, and Cheryl says $20, and I'll do one more. And Jane says I would not pay anything for that creepy looking thing. Actual price for the Conan the Barbarian figure is $350. Remember, handmade leather. Ooh. Oh, wow. Yeah, not for me. Honestly, I think that's very creepy, and I think someone would be offended if you gave it to them. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, quickly, let's get into our Nod to Nature. Let's get set to wrap up, my friends. I want to show you a mountain devil. And by the way, if you're enjoying the program, support the show, hit the heart button, give me a parade of hearts. And let me show you this. Some call it a mountain devil, but it's actually a wolverine. Have you ever seen one of these? Pretty rare, poorly understood animal. Many think it's actually related to bears, but in fact it is the largest member of the weasel family. So take a look at this here. And what's really interesting is this one was discovered a few days ago at the Yellowstone National Park. So it was actually spotted by a dad and his daughter. They were doing a tour. Very rare to be spotted by people. They are very generally a slow-moving animal with their short little legs. But they are aggressive, and they don't chase prey. Instead, they just sort of hide in the tree and behind rocks, and then they pounce on their prey. In fact, these guys, they won't hesitate approaching a bear. And I have to tell you, usually the bear backs down. These things only weigh about 40 pounds, but they are very impressive. And what makes this sighting so cool, that only 7 spottings have been documented in the last 15 years at this national park. Now, some of these are file footage, by the way. They're not all of the same one that was spotted, but I wanted to get some close-up shots. So this is the one that was actually spotted at the park. But the wolverine is now an official entry into our Nod to Nature file. I just thought it was very cool. And just to think again, you know, so many different things that live on our planet. And, you know, they're considered sort of a very important species, an indicator species of how an ecosystem is working. So everything has its role, but boy, what a thrill, certainly for that man and his daughter, and they got some video, and it has gone viral because it is so unique. Wow, this has gone so quick, guys. It's already 11:37. We're going to wrap things up. I want to just say thank you for your support. I want to tell you a couple of exciting things. Firstly, of course, continue to give me the thumbs up and the hearts. Be sure to share the show as we continue to grow. Tell your friends about it being on YouTube. And of course, follow my page. But I also want to tell you, next Saturday, we're starting a brand new feature here. I'm going to do a Saturday morning show. It's a special project I'm working on, and I'll have more details. I'll post it on Facebook as well on Twitter, on Instagram. I hope you can join me, though, as well on Saturday. We'll still do Friday's show at 1 o'clock. But for a small pilot program, we're going to do 4 special Saturday mornings. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to really do something good for the community. So I'm looking forward to your support on that as well. On that note, thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying this on my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe as we continue to build that platform as well and really connect around the world. Thank you for your time. Always appreciate that. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you next week right here on Here and There. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.